Hello, boys and girls. Thank you for joining us for our art lesson today. So, one of the elements of art that we're going to study today is called value. We remember that all of the elements make up all artwork. So, you cannot have art without the elements of art. Every piece of artwork has at least one element of art. So, the one that we're going to study today is value, as you can see on your screen. And what we're going to focus on is that value just simply means lightness and darkness. This is called a value scale, which shows you a very, very light value over here and a very, very dark value over here, and all the different values that are in between. So you can create form with value. You can make things look 3D, three-dimensional, like we learned in some of our other projects. You can make them look three-dimensional, almost like they're popping off of the page, if you use value. Okay, so just a short introduction to the element of art value. And now we are going to learn about how we are working with value with our beyond the border koi pond fish. So I'm going to bring up our ImageMate. So the first thing that we're going to do, we know that value just means light and dark. Okay, that is value. And value is an element of art. Okay, and so one of the first things we're going to do just for practice is we are going to create a value scale. And I'm going to show you how to do that on the next page. So we're going to create some value scales to practice making lights and darks and all of the values in between. So what you're going to do is you're going to draw a couple of large rectangles. They don't have to be very thick, but they do have to be long. Okay. And we're going to divide them up into little boxes. It doesn't matter how many you have. You should probably have more than 6 or 7, but you can have as many as you like. Okay, so we are going to practice how to make a value, whoops, forgot my U, value scale. Okay, so we're going to practice how to make a value scale. So remember they are light and dark is value. So what you're going to need is you'll just have a pencil. One of these ends is going to be light, and one of these ends is going to be dark. And to help me remember, I'm just going to put an L and a D and an L and a D. Now, here comes the kind of tricky part, but I'm going to help you and show you how to do it. For light and dark value, where my D is, I am going to use my pencil to color that square in as dark as I can make it. And if you make all of your lines go back and forth the same way, no scribbling, then you can make a nice dark color. Okay. Now as I move this way on my value scale, each box is going to get a little bit lighter, and I'll show you how to do that. So let's make this box a little bit lighter than this box. All I do is I just don't add so much pressure on my pencil. Okay. Now this box has to be a little bit lighter than this box. So I add just a little bit less pressure. Each box should be just a little bit lighter. So a little bit less pressure. every time makes the values lighter and lighter and lighter until you can barely see the pencil in there at all. So light that you can barely see it. So that when you get to your L box over here, it is perfectly white. Okay, so this is a value scale going from as dark as you can make it. That can probably be a little bit darker. Maybe this one a little bit darker too. Lighter, 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 lighter until you get to the light side. That is a value scale. These help us learn how to compare different values in our drawings. So we could even label these 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay? And then I left this other box down here for you. I would like you to create 2 value scales. Okay? And label them like I labeled them in practice, making your values. Okay, very good. Let's move on. And we are going to look our beyond the background or beyond the border fish and koi pond here. So you'll see step by step how to get to this point. Now, inside of the box, you would color everything, okay? Inside the box, you would color everything. But since this is your subject, it's the main part of your drawing, even when the subject goes outside the box, he is colored, okay, he or she. When your subject goes outside the box, this, no matter where the subject is, he's colored. So inside the box, the subject is colored. Outside the box, the subject is colored. So the subject gets colored everywhere, inside and outside the box. And you will color in the whole inside of the box as well. Your subject can be anything. Does not have to be a fish. I just chose the fish because I thought it looks cool. You can do whatever you like. What we're going to focus on is how to add value and our lights and our darks to the things that are outside of the box. Okay, so we're going to add value to our things outside the box. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose different values and think about different places that I might want to use them outside the box. Okay, so I think, and actually I think what we could do is we could do it this way. So we see that our 0 is our lightest value and our 9 is our darkest value. Now, a really cool thing that you can do in order to make these things kind of look 3D is what you can do is you pick where you want different values. And the way that you make things look 3D is by choosing values that are next to each other. So if you choose a value 9, if you put next to it an 8 and a 7 and a 6, then it will start to look 3D. If you start with a value 5 and on one side of it you put a 6 and a 4, it will help it to look 3D. Okay, so let's look at our fish. And I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to start with one of my darker values. I'm going to start with a 9 here. So I'm only going to use my values outside of the box. Okay? And because I used a 9 here, what did I say? Then I use one next to it. So I'm going to use an 8. So a little bit lighter. Okay, and then next to that one, I'm going to use a 7. Just a little bit lighter still. And up here, I'm going to use a 6. And then maybe a 5. Okay. Now your values should blend together smoothly. So you see how I got this line here between like the 9 and the 8? That means my 8 needs to be a little bit darker, so it is more smooth. There. Okay. Now over here, I think I'm going to put another 9. Your background should be all values. The subject, wherever it is, can be color, and inside the box is color. So I'm going to start maybe with an 8 here, pretty dark. So what do I need next to it? A 7. Okay. And then a 6, lighter still. And then a 5, even lighter. Okay, and that's what starts to make it look 3D. Okay. And it should be smooth. You see how this line here, this might be, oh, this might be a what? That one might be a, maybe an 8 into the 7. You see how there is a line here where it's like one's really dark and then one's lighter? So just do a little bit darker there to make that nice and smooth. Okay. So I think over here, I think I'm going to do really dark, like an 8. Because I did an 8 there. Then I want a 7. It's very easy. You just kind of follow your value scales and get lighter each time. I don't want to say it's very easy. I want to say the idea is very easy to understand. You just get lighter each time. And then a 6. And then a 5. And then a 4 up here, very light, okay. Okay, and I actually don't think this camera does it justice. It actually looks better in person than it does on that camera. Let's go down here and see what other kind of values can we create down here. Well, let's start out down here with a, maybe like a 5 on the fish's mouth. It looks kind of cool when you have these values of black and white versus all of this color. Now remember, you're not going to go inside the box with your values.
Hello, everyone.
Okay.
I have an announcement. You're going to take a staff photo.
Okay, and I think you just heard Miss Campanella making an announcement. So we're going to keep going. So all I'm doing is starting with a value. I choose which value, but remember, whichever value you start with, then you're just going to do a little bit lighter. So if you start with a 5, then you might want to try doing a 4. If you start with a 7, then do a 6. Because it will start to give the illusion of a 3D space. So each time we get lighter as we work our way through the image. And lighter even still. And you know what? If you make a mistake, then you make a mistake. And that's okay. And you can erase. No problem. Let's try this one here. I think I'm going to make this one. I think I'm going to make my dark values down here at the bottom. All along the bottom, I'm going to make dark values. Okay. Then, as I move up this, I think this is like a lotus flower. I'm going to do a little bit lighter. Okay. I don't know if the light's working so great for that one. How's that one? That might be better. Then a little bit lighter. And then a little bit lighter so you can barely see anything at all. Okay, so that is how you make your values. Again, I don't think the light is quite right here, but that is how you make your values so that you have this beyond the border. Mine is a koi pond, mine is a fish. Yours can be any subject that you like. So the subject, no matter where the subject is colored outside the box and inside the box. Subject is colored outside the box and inside the box. Okay? Everything inside the box is also colored. You're going to complete the whole thing. Okay? Then what we do is we add our values outside the box only. Okay? So values are added outside the box. Outside the box. And remember, values, you start darker and then you slowly get lighter and lighter and lighter as you work your way out. Okay? So this actually is turning out quite nice. I should probably continue to work on this. So I'm very excited to see what you're going to do. So just one more time. Subject is colored both inside the box and outside the box as well. Everything else inside the box gets colored. And then the background details outside the box, those are going to get your values. Okay? And that's going to be done with pencil. So boys and girls, I really look forward to seeing your artwork. I think you're going to do a great job. It is pretty hard, but I think you're going to do very well with it. Looking forward to seeing it. Can't wait to see it on Dojo. I will see you next time. Thanks for joining me. Bye-bye.